And we got two council meetings, 26th of October and 23rd of November. Just need someone to move them from correct.
Agenda item. Got two pictures at the top there. One's the picture on the left is looking downhill. You've got the channel and there's a join in the channel, and there was water coming up from underneath here and flowing downhill. And then the picture to the right of that is actually looking uphill. You've got water flowing down the hill, meets a join, and the water disappears. That, I wouldn't have thought that was what a well-constructed stormwater system should be doing. So the water is disappearing underground. It's also coming up from underground. So it doesn't seem to me to be doing the job that it's supposed to be doing. The question is, you know, where is some of the water going to and where's it coming from? They also, Mr. Edgerton showed me a pipe there which was part of the stormwater system and going across or under a driveway, which was supposed to take stormwater downhill, but if you pour water in the bottom end of it, it actually disappears. The pipe is actually running the wrong way. So there's some aspects of the design of the system that don't appear to be quite right, and they believe it is contributing to their problems. Now, they do, Mr. and Mrs. Edgerton, do acknowledge that their driveway is breaking up. That was due to the reinforcing system that they were advised to use, and that was due sort of fiberglass fiber system rather than the steel mesh system. And they acknowledge that part of the system of their driveway is the problem with the actual breaking up of the driveway. It's the design or the materials that they use, but the water coming through the driveway, they don't. That's, I don't, this, I'm pretty sure. We don't have any other recommendation. Receive it. Bring this back to council.
Yeah, no, Councillor Grant, followed by Councillor.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. I read that the initial and thought here. Council's done everything they could and done it all right, and blah, blah, blah. These people just funny. But when I read this letter, it comes across as these people were certainly out on the total blame game, and I had a completely different view of things. And it's for those every story's got two sides, so I'm sort of in agreement with Councillor Holweaver that we've got to look at this a bit more, I think.
Councillor Finch.
Thank you. I too have been there and have walked around, and those photos are accurate. That Councillor Mulwala pointed out on the left and the right. It's not right the way it is working. It's definitely a huge issue. But not only that, when you look at the photo of the sample collected, and I've seen that myself coming out, it's not normal water. There is issues, and we need to look at what we can do to solve those issues for these people. It's been ongoing for a while now, and naturally they're getting a little bit annoyed because it's not being solved. They have the right to have these issues solved so it doesn't impact on their property, and it definitely is having an impact on their property. You go and have a look. So we definitely need to do something about it.
At the moment, we've got a report to be received.
I move we receive that.
Please, Councillor Grant. Any further discussion? Well, Right, put to the vote, all those in favour? Those against, thank you. So the mirror report, oh, sorry, councillor Lowly, you want?
We have resolved to receive the report, but I'd like to ask the question, what now?
Yes.
It's got to go.
Hanging.
I mean, I feel as though, we need to be responding with whatever the process is. Moving to resolve, we can't just walk away from it, surely.
No.
So through you, Your Worship, whenever you build a structure, you should put subsoil drainage in. There's always going to be water moving down the interface between rock and whatever's on top of it. So that was always going to be happening and going down through to where the Edgerton's property is down below. A little bit of stormwater shouldn't actually impact and cause any damage to what's happening down there. We can certainly have a look and make sure we seal that up. I know the regulatory staff have been out several times looking at what's going on there. That sample of brown looking liquid, there's a bush catchment up above that, which could have contributed to that. We can certainly ask the regulatory staff to go and have a look. We can have another look at what's there. But I would have thought that drainage system should not have been able to have an effect downstream on their property if that was designed and the subsoil drainage and everything were designed properly. Because there is always going to be water flowing from a higher property down to a lower property. And we can absolutely seal this, and that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be any issues on the Edgerton property. So yeah, we've spent a lot of time trying to work through and deal with the issues. More than happy to have another look at those couple of outstanding ones, but it really was getting to the point where there wasn't much we thought we could do to solve this issue if they don't have those constructed on their property. And they have mentioned they had to reconstruct a retaining wall on their property as part of their submission as well.
Would a dye piece show that?
The dye just disappears when it's going through ground, so it wasn't anything noticeable. In response to the question before, I haven't been there when it's been raining vigorously. I've been there when it's after there has been rain, and I've seen the water seeping out on the driveway and in the Edgerton property. That's what normally happens if you have retaining structures. You need to have proper drainage in behind them. So yeah.
What I do suggest also, if you want staff to go away and do further investigations and come back. In the interim, if you're in Dunedin one day, just come back round through Tara Mountain and have a look. It's not hard to pick the house and work it out for yourself.
Through you, Your Worship, you know, I got involved in it. I've been involved in it for a while as well. And I just asked the layperson questions. You know, let's get the experts in. We got Geosolve in, and then you know, we used Murray as well, service delivery to oversee the thing. I've had regulatory out there. I've always asked the question, you know, we need to make sure that there isn't any wastewater, and regulatory, the staff have been out on site uphill and have assured me that their inspections are saying that there's no wastewater, you know, illegal connections or whatever, uphill into that space, because we acted straight away. We've gone and inspected straight away, and so we've looked at that side of it. I know that Murray, when he was getting involved in it, he threw his hands up and effectively, you know, in sense of working with the Edgertons, and effectively didn't want to try and do anything more as a consequence, because we didn't seem to be able to do anything that met the expectations of fixers. And again, as Jill says, look, we can do minor stuff. It's not difficult to say, well, let's fix some seals. But, you know, short of getting another independent expert to look at the situation and look at that subsurface side of things in terms of our drainage, you know, we're just bringing in another expert to have another look at the same issue in that. I mean, that's essentially where we are. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in your hands. If you want us to get another independent person to have a look at the total picture, we looking at pictures. One thing we could do, we could just seal it, doesn't necessarily address the issue of stuff going underneath, as Jill said. I mean, if you're wanting to try and get any further satisfaction about that side of things, well, you've really got to get another expert to have another look and see whether or not there's any material insignificance. Because that's the issue. There's always going to be water going through into that property. The question is it significant? Is it impacted by anything we've done? Is it not being mitigated? There's all that, but to what degree do we have a role and a responsibility around that side of it? And that's where we've always ended up, getting to a sort of an impasse. We're in your hands if you wanted to suggest something.
So at the moment, we've received the report, we could do another recommendation. Councillor Custer.
Has anybody tested that water they pulled out from under the Gabion wall? For the sheer fact that would show if it was tannins, the runoff from native, etc., something like that. Just the discoloration, etc. Like as you say, Jules, it's very dirt.
Look, I'm not through your worship, that was handled by the regulatory team. So
Yeah.
it would be something that
We-
Malcolm.
It would be a cheap, know where it came from.
Yes, but we also, again, we can get them in, your worship. But we were dealing with pictures, we were dealing with bottles.
Yeah.
And we send the regulatory team to do the site visits as a consequence of the bottles, but nobody's come back to tell council from any of our staff, having done that work, saying that that's wasteful.
Councillor Graham, followed by Bob Wheeler.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if, as you say, you've had the experts in the look and they're quite confident the job's been done properly and there's something else.
Sorry, I'm not saying the job's perfect. You can see the pictures that are presented there, and we can do some minor bits and pieces for it. I think the issue is there's a viewpoint from one party that says whatever we've done historically and with whatever we've done now with that drain has exacerbated the water on their property, and the expert advice that we've got is there are some things we can do, which is to deal with the stormwater coming off, which we do to